I want to share my story with you, and the good and the bad. It's really important that you hear the bad things because, like the last presenter said, you got to break through those things. So my journey started when I was 15 years old. My parents told me I had to go out and get a job. They weren't going to pay my way through college and gas money and so on. So I started my first business when I was 15. Believe it or not, I actually had to hire people older than me to drive because I couldn't do it. I started pushing a lawnmower up and down the street, and it grew and grew and grew. The whole point of that business was to pay for college or university, as you guys say. And I was pretty successful at it. I was making a lot more money than my friends were who were bagging groceries and so on. I was making way more than minimum wage. It just continued to grow and went off to college and earned an accounting degree. You know, that business, being 15, it really laid the groundwork for becoming a workaholic because I was raised on all you got to do is work really hard and work a lot, and you'll be successful. That's all it takes is work, work, work. Not working smart. It was just working a lot. So I became a workaholic, and becoming successful really started to hurt me, actually, as you'll see here in a minute. So I went and got my accounting degree and went off to work for Price, all while my business continued to succeed. My brother was running it with a whole bunch of staff, and it just continued to grow. So I kept learning about business and accounting with Price, got pretty successful at that. That actually laid the groundwork for a lot of arrogance. So at this point, I've never failed. I've got a lot of success in my business. I've got a heck of a degree now, and working for the largest accounting firm in the world. I couldn't fail, you know? But during this time, I started reading a lot of books because I just wasn't satisfied, but I couldn't put my finger on why. So I started reading books by Stephen Covey, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I read every one of his books, and I started to realize, I think the guy ruined me because I realized how not passionate I was about what I was doing at the time. So I knew I had to get out of accounting. So there we go, 25 years old, jumped right back into my business with my brother and continued to go with it. And I knew that if I was going to go all out. So what did I do? I spent $1.1 million on a big garden center, nursery, greenhouses. And I had to go learn how to grow poinsettias and do floral arrangements and sell pavers and mulch and all these things I had no idea how to do. I'd never done this before. So I jumped in without a vision, without a plan, nothing. My arrogance led me to believe that I could just do this without any thought process at all. Well, we fast forward that business a couple of years. We started failing very quickly, and I was selling that business for a lot less money than they owed the bank and filing bankruptcy. Things got bad, okay? It was horrible. Worst part of my life. So back to accounting I went. I had to tuck my tail between my legs and admit my defeat, and I started blaming everybody but me. It was never my fault. During this time, my back was hurting, and I went to a personal trainer, and I asked for some help. And it turned out that it was a guy, one of the owners at Overload, who was actually an NPE client. Didn't know that at the time. And he kept prodding me to become a personal trainer because I started reading, and I was really fascinated about exercise and my hobbies and playing sports all the way through high school and college. And he kept saying, you got to be a personal trainer. Go open a business. And no, I don't want that. I've been through this again. I'm making good money, 6 figures. I don't need this again. And after a lot more prodding, I finally relented because my entrepreneurial fire continued to burn, and I had to do something more than just accounting. So I started moonlighting as a trainer. Started a little tiny business, 8 machines in the basement of a building. It was just me and 0 clients day one. And I did it again. Absolutely no plan, no business, no vision, nothing. I just did it because, again, I was so arrogant. I could just do this, right? So I knew, again, that if I was going to make a go of this, and I really wanted to make it big, I was going to jump in with both feet. And what did I do? I don't learn my lessons very easily. I'm pretty hard-headed. I borrowed $500,000 this time. That was okay. It was 1.1 before, right? $500,000. And I bought a failing Bally's, which is a big gym chain in the United States, or was, I should say. And I jumped in again. Now, just like before, I had to learn how to grow poinsettias and things like this. Now I'm learning group fitness. I'd never taken a group fitness class in my life. I was barely a personal trainer. Daycare, front desk, I had all this stuff to do. And again, had no idea how to do it. So my arrogance was leading me to another failure. Again, I just cannot learn my lessons, okay? That's Americans for you, right? So it got a lot worse, a lot worse. I started to not pay myself, so my savings was dwindling. And at this point now, I was married and had a couple of young kids at home, and we were trying to raise those kids on just my wife's income. I wasn't bringing anything home. So thankful for her, she was able to support me through this. We were going deeper into debt. Every month, it was harder and harder to pay down those credit cards. It was way too much for my marriage to bear. It led to ultimately losing my wife. History for me was repeating itself. I thought I was at rock bottom. I hadn't had rock bottom yet. This was it. I remember sitting there in my office one day, reviewing my horrible numbers and seeing things getting worse. And I just felt trapped. I didn't know what to do next. This was truly rock bottom. I lost my wife now. My business was failing, had no money, and my health started deteriorating. I stopped working out, was going home and drinking every night, didn't know what to do next. So I kept hiding, from everyone. Nobody knew how bad it was, but this was truly rock bottom for me. To show you a little bit about that, now mind you, these are just our personal training, our private training numbers, but you can see year over year it got worse and worse. We were going backwards, but yet overhead kept getting bigger. Our private clients were disappearing. We had only one way to make money in that time. It was just a private training. We did have a little bit of membership, but not much to speak of. Our margins were getting worse, and our profit margins were getting worse. Now, I know a lot of you might look at the 2011 profit margin and say, hey, 15%, that's not bad. Well, when you're $500,000 in debt, it's really bad, okay? If I was not in debt, it might be okay, but I couldn't pay payroll. I was worrying about how I was going to make the next debt payment. I was worried about it being foreclosed on. Okay, it was pretty bad. It's amazing how things happen when they do. So the old personal training company I had signed up with, he calls me out of the blue. Jeff T, if everyone from the United States will know who he is. But he called me out of the blue and said, you need to call this guy Sean Greeley from NPE. And he's going to save my life. And I said, sure he is. This is just another marketing company. I've spent thousands. I'd previously just spent $15,000 on a marketing consultant that spent 3 days with me. 3 days. I was just $15,000 more in debt by the end of that. It did nothing. So I poo-pooed it right away. And again, sitting in my office, ready to break down, and just, you know what? Maybe I just need to listen for once. Maybe I don't know everything. So I called Jeff back and I said, I'm thinking about calling this Sean guy and asking for some help. What's your advice? And he says, just shut up and follow the damn instructions. That was the first time I heard that. Now I hear it all the time. But it's exactly what he said to me. So I called Sean, and they sent me all the information. I jumped into Evolution Accelerator, and I kid you not, I couldn't get enough. I knew for the first time this was it. And I think I whipped through Evolution Accelerator in like no time. And I called him, I said, I need more. I need to be a VIP right now. And I said, let's get to marketing. Let's get to marketing. Hold on. Slow down. You've got to get your systems in place. You're not ready for it. And they said the exact same thing to me. If we give you 30 clients today, can you handle it? The answer was no. So I got that. I signed up for VIP, and I got that big box of videos. And I went off to vacation with my parents because I had no money. They had to pay for it. They forced me to go and take my kids with me. And I did what now is unthinkable. I spent an entire week neglecting my family, watching those videos, all the way down in the minivan, all the way back, put the kids down for a nap, I'm watching videos. It was nonstop, but I couldn't stop. The vacation was great because it did give me time away to get through this, but I literally completed every one of those on vacation in 1 week. I didn't sleep much. I didn't spend any time on the beach. I didn't do anything with my kids, and I regret every minute of it, but I did get through it. And I remember watching Duplicator and realizing that how my business was built was completely wrong. I didn't have the right staff in the right positions. And I knew that I was going to have to come home and literally fire everyone or start moving them around. As soon as I got back from vacation, Jeff called me again. He said, Matt, you got to get to mega training. And this was 2011. And I got to fly down to Florida. And I said, oh my gosh, I don't have this kind of money. And he said, you got to do it. Oh, what the hell? I'm already broke. Let's do it. When I got there, I met my new family. It was a family of people that was just like me, had the same problems as me, could relate to me. And I said, you know what? This is my place. This is heaven for me. I surrounded myself with a community. And you're going to get to know this community. It has been huge for me because I know that I can pick up the phone anytime and call them and really have them help me. There was a community that wanted me to succeed as bad as I wanted to succeed. It was awesome. To meet my coaches, to finally put a face to all those names telling me to get my shit together. It was awesome. I was inspired by everybody, as you guys are, I'm sure, from this weekend. Determined. I went home and was so determined to not let history repeat itself. I was absolutely laser focused on what I had to do to succeed and not fail this time. Got home and put these systems to work. Auto closer, duplicator, every one of these things were going to be put into my business immediately. You can tell, working with me, it was going to happen now. We couldn't wait any longer. Trying to all work toward that dream lifestyle, that had never been asked of me before. I worked for my business. It wasn't a vehicle to get my life where I want it to be, and I still struggle with it today, but it's got to be something worked on constantly. So these things are now in place. We have a vision. We know where we're going. I could literally tell you exactly how much money we're going to make from month to month now because of these numbers and knowing where things are at. This is kind of, again, specific to only our personal training, but back in 2011, $89,000. The end of this year, $275,000 just in personal training. We now have a semi-private model. We should finish off the year about 70 clients there, at least 85 to 90 private clients. Large group, that was something that was somewhat new to us as well, 151 boot campers in large groups. Memberships, we should top 1,600 this year. Our margins are back to where they should have been, upper 60s, and our profit margins in private training are now over 27%. Now, don't get me wrong, the membership rips apart that number, but we're working on that. So those financial results has given us the ability to really add the pieces necessary to continue our growth. We now have 2 admin assistants. I have one that just helps general with the business, and I have one specific to our marketing and just working with Infusionsoft. I'm actually proud to say I have no idea how to log into it. I don't know how at all. That's their job. I now have a sales and marketing person I just hired a couple of weeks ago because I don't like sales. Absolutely hated it. I actually enjoy it now because now we have a plan. I actually know what I'm going to do for the next year. Now I just have to hire somebody to implement it because I don't want to do it. More trainers. I now have 9 trainers, 16 group fitness instructors, and I'm backing myself out of it. I actually, quite frankly, find training people boring. I can't stand it all day long, boring, monotonous. You know, a lot of us got in the business to help people. I got into it to make money, to be honest with you. I enjoy helping people. I love coaching people, but the reality is I love my business, and I love to run my business. That's really where my passion's at. We added semi-private training, and I'll skip down. We have now added boot camps and bar body. We've added a lot more diversity to our business. We've implemented Infusionsoft, and that's a beast that we're still trying to conquer. We have a new website that is now working for us and capturing leads. So we constantly have leads coming in the doors that we'd never had before. This is actually my marketing pipeline. I mean, we actually thought this thing out. So this is what we're building in Infusionsoft. We actually know where people are at in our pipeline so that people aren't slipping through the cracks. But this was all stuff that had to get put down on paper and understanding where your business is at. This is now my organizational chart. So this is where my time is spent, is really developing the systems. And you start to realize that if you have the right people and you have the right systems, you don't have to manage people anymore. You just hire the right ones and manage the system. So this is really my job, is constantly improving those systems and bringing people, good quality staff in the door. And you know, there's that old saying, your best asset are your people. There's absolutely, that is so true. Without these people, I wouldn't be standing here today. I wouldn't have won the award last year. This is why I'm up here. Okay, so you got to get the right people and build their systems and help them to succeed. I'll tell you, my staff now, what I use NPE for, is my staff is now going through Duplicator. They're going through AutoCloser. They're going through the systems. So my job is to now coach them. So we have all different reasons why we do what we do. This is why I did it. This is why I was so determined. For my 2 boys, Braden, again, good little Irish lad, right? Actually, U2 is my favorite band, so I had to name him after Irish. I committed to the whole community last year when I was giving my Member of the Year presentation that I was going to spend more time, and I did. I committed to being his football coach. So I'm now coaching. I hate to say it right now, it's the first practice I've missed. Tyler, he's my little baseball player and golfer. You know, he's going to pick up a bat, he's going to swing it. So I don't miss any more minutes. I now leave work by 4 o'clock every day so I can spend more time with them. That's my commitment, is that to be the greatest father I can possibly be. And it means to spend time with them, because that's something I can never get back. You can take all my money, you can take my business, but you cannot have my time anymore. My clients will not get my time over my children. This is why we do it. So I stand up here really embodying everything that NPE has to offer. They offer you dream lifestyle. They offer you the path to get there. You just have to be willing to ask for it. I'm absolutely humbled by every mistake I've ever made, and I thank them every day for helping me achieve the level of success I'm getting to. And I'll tell you, I got a long way to go, and we'll get there. Thanks, NP. And I truly appreciate the community that has helped me get there. And I vow that to give back constantly. So whoever wants to be up here next year fighting for this award, just ask for help. I'll help you. I think everyone in the community will help you. Every one of these coaches will help you get there. You just have to be willing to work at it. Thank you very much.